Hello again, I am Brett Newton. I am a composer, orchestrator, and author, and I'm here with another in my series of great band works. Now, I've been asked before, which Holst suite is your favorite? Is it this suite number 1 in E flat, or is this suite number 2 in F? And to that I say, neither one of them, because Holst wrote a third work for wind band, Hammersmith. This, for my money, is Holst's greatest work for wind band. It's also his last work. He wrote this in 1930. It's actually one of the last works he wrote. There's only a couple more that come after because he passes away in 1934. Hammersmith is in the unusual position that it is the only of Holst's 3 major wind band works. There are a couple of others that we don't really play or talk about. They're pretty minor, but there are a couple others. But it's the only of the 3 major wind band works that comes to us completely unedited by the publishers or an arranger or an editor or whatever. Meaning that we have Holst original, and that's the only version we've got. Why is that important? Because Holst suites number 1 and number 2 are heavily edited. They're edited to add instruments, to change the instrumentation, really to fundamentally sometimes change Holst's orchestration. So I have never actually once played, I can't tell you how many times I played Holst suite in E flat. It's so many, dozens and dozens of times. I can almost play it from memory, but I've never played the original version. I don't think anybody really ever plays the original version because it's a very, very small band. It's almost the same band setup here as Hammersmith. It's a couple flutes and piccolo. Sometimes we go to 2 piccolos, where it's second flute doubling, 2 E flat clarinets, 4 B flat clarinet parts, no low clarinets, no altos, no basses, no contras. Alto tenor sax, no bari sax, 2 bassoons, 4 horns, 3 cornets, 2 trumpets. The distinction here is very important. 3 trombones, euphonium, tuba, and percussion. And that's it. So this could be one of the reasons that this piece does not get performed much. There's no low clarinets, there's no bari sax. You have to have some of the players of the ensemble sit idle if you're working with a modern wind band. Well, what do? Just have them play B-flat clarinet, it's fine. Or just have them not play that piece. So, but what is Hammersmith? Hammersmith is a tone poem. It is reflections on the suburb, borough, I'm not even sure what they call it in London, but the London district of Hammersmith, where Holst lived and worked. And you've got the River Thames flowing through it. That's kind of the opening. And then you've got all the bustling, because it's a really industrial area. So he portrays this in a prelude and scherzo. The prelude is the river, and the scherzo is all the hubbub of this really industrial area of London that Holst absolutely loved. And then we've got further dichotomies. Not only is it in 2 parts, it's in 2 keys. It's bitonal. In the opening, we see that we've got F minor against E major. A minor against major key. How does this work? The common third shared between the 2. Both F minor and E major share the third of A flat G sharp. Now, of course, tuning intonation, but if you use modern intonation, works out perfectly that your A flat and your G sharp are going to be the same. So you've got these interlocking. They share a common tone between them. And to this, we also, in the scherzo, get 2 time signatures going at once. We get 2, 4, and 6, 8. Not 2 totally different, but and so it's a very bimodal piece. 2 sections, 2 keys, 2 time signatures. And this is actually very, very characteristic of Holst. It's probably more characteristic of Holst than the 2 suites, because you don't really see that kind of adventurous nature that we come to expect in later Holst. The 2 suites are really early. They're 1900s, 1910s, right in there. I can't remember the exact dates, but they're early. This comes 1930. This is fully mature Holst, who is really much more experimental than we give him credit for, because so much of the planets is not only bitonal, but by time signature as well. And so planets becomes much more mature, and those come just a few years after the two suites. I have known this piece almost my whole band career, because when I was a beginning wee band student, I got a CD of the Dallas Winds playing Holst's band music, which included the two suites, Hammersmith and the Moorside Suite, which is for brass band, which I'll probably talk about at some point, because brass band is just as important as your concert band. And I grew up on this piece, and of the four pieces on that disc, I think Hammersmith fascinated me most, because this is a piece that's telling a story. It's got this great orchestration. It's far better orchestrated than either of the two suites. You've got so much more creativity going on. You've got so many interesting pairings and colors coming through. It's like this vivid pastel of a landscape. And so there's a moment in the prelude that I just absolutely love. You've got all these low tubas and euphoniums and low instruments, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the piccolo comes in. Ba, 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 ba. And it's just like, oh, day just broke with one instrument. It's just this most wonderful orchestrational touch that you've got just this low wash of sound. Then all of a sudden, this color appears out of nowhere, and I love it, and it is one of Holst's most brilliant orchestrational touches. If you do not know Hammersmith, I'm going to put a link down below. There's a score follow along that you just have to watch and see what Holst is doing with it. It is, I think, Holst's absolute masterpiece of band music, Holst's Hammersmith. And it's a crying shame that this is not his most frequently programmed band work, but it's also his absolute most difficult. It is a hard booger. So, anyway, Holst Hammersmith. Let me know, have you played it before? Do you know it at all? Comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching.